Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Haiku Friday. Today is November 18th, 2022. I kind of have a crooked Batman villain look going here. I don't know what the deal is, but that's cool. Let's get started. Actually, yeah, let's get started, shall we? No, today is the 18th, isn't it? Yep, 18th. I have the 19th written in my haiku, but I should know the 19th is a big day. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Um, so we have three from Don Q. And the first one, Don writes, is a collaboration between my friend Bob and me. Uh, Bob wrote the prose, and then Don Q turned it into a haiku. Okay, here we go. Spotlight in the sun. A butterfly volcano vanished in darkness. Hmm, that's pretty. That's lovely. Thank you. Uh, and now we have um, Don Q writes that this is an homage to my friends and Jethro Tull. We are old school guys. Yes, too old to rock and roll and too young to die. Well, I'd say, you know, Don Q, I don't want to argue with you on this, but I think both counts, there's a lot of young rock and rollers who died. And you know what? I don't even know if the kids like to rock and roll anymore. I think we're kind of stuck, those folks in our generation, we're kind of stuck in the rock and roll mindset. I kind of get the opinion that kids are into different the kids are into different things music wise. And I have to say, I've really been enjoying EDM. That's kind of my go-to anymore. So I don't know why. Probably like that better than rock and roll these days. But uh never too old to rock and roll and never too young to die, I say, Don Q. All right, here we go. The third one from Don Q on the lucidity of insomnia. Clarity of thought, Sunday morning, 3 a.m. insomniac hours. Oh boy, I used to be a victim of that myself, Don Q, and it's gotten much better. So stick with it. Uh, I think lately I've just been staying up so late that the 3 a.m. is, there's no way I can be awake at 3 a.m. Anyway, thanks, Don Q. Those are all beautiful as always. Appreciate it. And this one's from Tom. And Tom gets a great inspiration from his grandkids. And this is no exception. And I know the feeling. I'm really missing my grandkids. The last week or so, I've just been really missing those guys. So hopefully, I can go over there, or they can come over here and we can hang out. But anyway, here's Tom's: a prehistoric pet, a lizard's calisthenics. Down. Give me 20. Oh, that is a great observation by your grandson, I believe, in that one. I think it was your grandson. Yes. But thank you, Tom. That's beautiful. And make those lizards work out. I'll tell you, around here, a lizard wouldn't make it very long. That's for sure. It's pretty cold outside. But it makes me happy to think about lizards doing calisthenics. So thank you. Now, here's one from our pal Rico san, who I've been missing him lately too. So, Rico san writes, still a trendsetter, like a crunchy old person in the produce aisle. Yep, yep. Oh, man. Do I know that feeling? It's funny when all of a sudden you turn around, you definitely are kind of an oddball for being the old person. It's a weird deal. I think I'd rather do that than hang out with old people, though. I'd rather be the oddball till people as long as people can stand me, um, which, everybody has their own tolerances, that's for sure. Okay, I'm going to just kinda remind people of what Haiku Friday is about. Now, this is my I hate to say mission statement because this is, oh, you know what? Rico, I forgot to read my haiku. And I think maybe I picked up on the clarity issue from Don Hughes. I just realized that connection. Okay, here's mine. Then we'll get back to the Haiku Friday stuff. Uh, Focused in dimness. Strange that clarity strengthens. Christmas lights cheer fades. Oh yeah, it's a bad. I don't like this time of year, but it is what it is. Okay, back to the Haiku Friday nuts and bolts stuff. Uh, just want to remind everybody that there was sort of a mission statement of Haiku Friday, and I can see it needs a little updating, but I'm going to read that for you. Haiku Friday, and this is on my website, and I sometimes wear a websuit. My website, haikufriday.com. Haiku Friday is presented every Friday, barring scheduling conflicts, on Facebook. All submissions are welcome. Your haiku will be broadcast around the world in a welcome celebratory. Your haiku will be broadcast around the world in a welcome celebratory setting. Haiku is traditionally a simple non-rhyming poem with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 again in the third. Bongo accompaniment upon request. Now, a lot of that stuff's kind of gone by the wayside. I do present on Facebook, but it's mostly a YouTube thing now. And in the beginning, it was actually on Twitter Live, whatever it was called. I can't remember because Facebook didn't have that option at the time. But and you so there's a little updating. Nobody asks me to play the bongo anymore, which is thank God. I'm not a bongo player, so I was faking my way through that. Um, and just to remind you, there's no critique of your haikus. I'm going to read them and hopefully do a better job than I just did reading the mission statement of reading your haikus. I'm not going to critique them. There's no analysis really of them, other than maybe something that comes into mind at the moment that I'm reading them. I'm not going to spend a lot of time taking them apart. Number one, I don't have the time. That's probably the first issue. And number two, that's for you, the listener, to do or not do. That's what art is about. Nobody should have to explain. I'm not going to explain to you what I think about a haiku or what I think about a painting, what I think about all sorts of art forms. That's your take. That's the gift of art. All right. Okay, so that's the formal part of Haiku Friday. If you're still tuned in, go ahead and tune out if you don't want to hear what's going on. That's sort of new with me. Here we go. What's new? Tomorrow, important hats of the 20th century. Get your tickets. It's, I think, a space that'll hold about 75 people, I've been told. It's an interesting space to work in, and it's actually a really cool studio with lots of beautiful artwork. So that's probably worth the price of admission just to see the artwork itself. It's really neat. But I'll tell you, there's some great performances in this. A lot of folks that you've seen in local Spokane theater, and they do a bang up job with this. And so you're going to really enjoy this show if you go. That's tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. And you can go to Eventbrite and look up Spokane, look up uh, important hats of the 20th century. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can just look up important hats of the 20th century, and that should take you there. Or the Upstart players who are presenting that. You can look on that. So that's been a big deal for me. And oh my gosh, if you know me, I go to bed pretty early. Even at the fire station when I was working, I would go to bed early, knowing that we would be getting up all night anyway. So I would try to get as soon as I could go to bed about 9, 8:30, 9 o'clock. I would be doing it because I know I'd be up by 10, up at 1, up at 3, up at 4, up at 5. So I might as well get a head start on it. So I kind of got into that habit, but this uh, these rehearsals um, have been keeping me up late at night, which I'm kind of becoming a night owl again. I come home and I read, I have a little snack, maybe watch a little TV, although that seems to be a waste of time. I'd rather read, I think, now. And then I go to bed. Sarah's already asleep. And then I sleep in the morning. And it does kind of eliminate that 3 a.m. insomnia. There's been snow on the ground for a couple of weeks here. And it makes me think when I see the snow out there, I go, what was the snow situation this time last year? And it's funny. I realize I can never really remember what the season was like the year before. Isn't that odd? I think, was there a lot of snow on the ground at this time? I don't remember. I just don't remember. Anyway, I find that curious. Same thing with summers. I don't remember what summer was like the last summer before, but the snow has been on the ground. The leaves are starting to come off the trees and cover the snow, which is kind of opposite of how it usually is. Um, my radio show is still up and going well. The studio, we're still looking to move. I don't know when's that's going to happen, but it should have happened. They wanted it to happen about a month ago. Hasn't happened yet. But I'll keep you posted on that. Finally got the Christmas lights up at the house. Yay! Um, and I have been working on a Santa project. I want it. If anybody knows out there how to make something spit out a card with the push of a button, that would be really cool. Like a fortune teller type thing where a card gets distributed. I'd like to do that. I'm making like a little Santa kiosk art project, I think. We'll see how it goes. May just wind up on the island of misfit unfinished projects. We'll see how we're doing. I also was thinking about making a Bumble roof decoration, abominable snowman up there on the roof. We'll see. Uh, I'm really thinking after this show, and then after um, I've got another little show in December. I'm thinking about taking a little break from theater because I've got writing projects that I've been very bad about finishing. And so I think I need to kind of buckle under and get those done. Uh, but you never know. You never know. I read a script and I go, "Oh, that's such a fun part. I have to do it." But the reality is I'm feeling a little tired. So I'm probably going to take a little break from theater, do my writing. Painting is continuing. Painting for me, I think a lot of it's problem solving. Like, why is something not looking the way I want it to look? And so I've been working on this painting. There's a problem solving phase. I spend way too much time on these paintings, but um, you know, I find I get joy out of painting. I get joy out of writing. Get joy out of acting. There's a lot of ways to harvest joy around here. So thank you for staying tuned in for the anybody who is still tuned in. And I will be posting this up on haikufriday.com. And remember, send me your haikus. I read what a haiku was. That shouldn't preclude you from ever sending me a haiku. You can call anything a haiku as long as it's not too long. And I will read it. Uh, any kind of poetry, any kind of prose. I will be more than happy to read your stuff because we're going to make art here, right? I mean, these midterm elections have me heartened, and I think a lot of young folks voted. Thank you for that. Um, and a lot of young folks are very creative types, and I think that creativity is going to overcome destruction. I almost said destroy destruction, which would be weird, but I think we're going to have that. And those folks who like to make things and are kind and try to make the world a better place, I'd like to put myself in that camp. We're going to prevail. because that's how the universe is. It may take a long time. Probably won't see it in our lifetime, but we're going to do it. So, anyways, go to haikufriday.com if you want to see more of this stuff, or visit the YouTube page of spokanorama.com and or Spokanorama, that's the name. And I'll talk with you later. Thanks for sitting with me this morning. I really appreciate it. Bye now.